Hello to my name is Guillermo and Elena. We are the partners and we use an office in Mexico, SUMA Arquitectura, which means to wrap up. And we were asked by Marco to like to really thank the opportunity to be here with you about presenting our work and at the same time understand or talk about how we deal with current situation, economic crisis, call it. So, indeed, the 20th century we have witnessed the rise and fall of different utopias and platforms of thought. This is an evolutionary tree of the 20th century in architecture. There are a lot of numbers there, names there, of platforms of thought, of ideas regarding architecture. And this has touched upon many fields: politics, philosophy, thinking, and so on. And not only that, not only regarding ideas, for many thinkers, modern technology didn't bring that sort of emancipation it promised at the beginning. We are not as independent as we were supposed to be by means of technology. On the contrary, it seems that modern technology, as this picture of the First World War made explicit, made us more fragile, so more dependent on and more conscious of the fragility of the spheres in which we live and we share. And time has only highlighted this more and more, as you probably know. For making things worse, when we were accepting that we were a sort of postmodern generation, we get to this retrospective exhibition in London and the Victoria Albert Museum on postmodernism. You know, there is an exhibition in a museum. That means that is dead. Something exhibited, but you can no longer do somehow. And yes, indeed we live relativist times, as Groucho Marx was saying. I have answers for almost nothing and questions for almost everything. And what happens is that indeed, apparently, no platform of thought, no ideas, no values can be considered as a stable ground. Architecture, as it is a humanistic discipline, has become a sort of nomad discipline. Okay, we are constantly moving from one place to another. Everything is unstable to us. So what do? We came across this picture some time ago, and we like to think about ourselves as these people. These are the Libros Islands in Lake Titicaca. These are floating islands over the lake. They are built over the water with mud and hemp, with plants and mud from the lake. There's only water beneath those islands. So what we like about these people is that we think about ourselves as them. Let's say that we believe that only by constantly building that bed over the water, over this unstable environment, we are putting ourselves. Only by doing that, constantly remaking, rethinking, constructing, we can get to the point that we can consider that ground stable. Let's say that a sort of paradox. It is not the construction that supports the foundation. Let's say the idea is a foundation for a point of departure for our work. It is the construction that supports the foundation and not the other way around. All right? It is what we do, how we construct onto our idea, what will at certain point give sort of support, or will be able to sustain what we do, right? So no matter the idea or point of departure, no matter how unstable the ground is, no matter how your ideas are, how defiant your ideas are, okay? So only by construction onto those ideas, we will achieve a design able to be sustained. So in this presentation, what we would like to do is to introduce and explain what constructing ideas in architecture means to us. And it really doesn't matter what the idea is or where it comes from. Sometimes we come across an idea in order to respond to a given context. Sometimes we incubate an idea as in a laboratory, and then we look for the proper context to implement that idea. And sometimes the idea is not even ours. Okay, it comes from the developer or from somewhere else. So the thing is that what constructs an idea, or what constructing an idea means to us, is what supports the idea. Okay, so it is all the process we make from the starting point, from the point of departure, while we at some point be able to sustain what we're doing. Okay, and I'm using the word construct this idea and constructivism of idea because it's something that relates a lot with our work. Okay, constructing means that it can also be designed. Okay, so sometimes what supports our idea is not a given context. It's something that we can design. It's something we can. The context that supports your ideas can be designed, can be constructed. Also, they are as artificial as any other thing. Okay, you probably know that huge empires were made or were constructed over probably wrong ideas, of ideas that look now really awful. Think of any Islamism, any idea like this. So what we do is that we put like a fresh mind, a mind clean out of prejudices of preconceptions when we are working with the first ideas or points of departure. So here are the three ideas we'll try to explain. I don't know if you can read them. The vertical village, the houses in the tree, and the look at the building. They are like sort of cliches in a way, if you want that. So it's not, doesn't matter so much how we start, but how we address that thing and how we construct those ideas regarding many issues. So the first project we'd like to introduce is these apartments in Departmaent. Professor Ruiz talk about you. It's a sort of garden and lineal city. Probably not anymore, or not as Arturo Soria envisioned it, but well, it's an area on the outskirts on the old outskirts of Madrid. So this is a private commission, sort of regular commission in a way, from a private developer. And Elena and I, we are at this point paraphrasing again Groucho Marx, that you know that Groucho Marx said that I will not join a club that accepts me as a member. You know that. So we are more or less in the same situation with our private clients. We should not accept the private clients that want us as their architects. You know, because if they want us as their architects, that's not good at all. Probably, I mean, they don't care what architecture is going to be, or they want like the cheapest project possible or something like that. But no matter, when we're dealing with these clients we have, first thing we do is that you should not talk about what they want. They should just put the conversation out of architectural specifics. Let's say that it will be like a doctor asking a patient, what sickness do you think you have? What a doctor does is looking for the symptoms. So what we did with this client is start to talk about what he was looking for when he bought the plot, how he envisioned the area, how he was meaning to attract people to the house. So at some point, this guy who lived in the city for many years and then moved to Aranjuez, which is an area like 50 kilometers away, said that he was looking for a sort of oasis, correct? Like sort of reservoir of peace and like a place to get away from the city of the pollution and the noise. So there we got our point of departure. That's the idea of the oasis, like the place where you go and as a getaway, as a contact with nature, a sort of nostalgic getaway or something like that. So as I say, this is, well, you are now all, if you're familiar with the plant Madrid probably, well, that's a tourist street. And this is where the site is located. So what we did, this is the main regulation in the area. It's like 20 by 20 meters, setback of 4 meters in all the perimeter, and 4-story high. That's mostly what it's a corner plot, right, in 2 streets. So going back to that idea of the climbing, we said, okay, if we want to achieve that idea of having a nature inside, let's try to work with that sort of trying to give each apartment a garden, okay? But to do that, we're going to need more space, because what the idea the client had at the beginning was to put 6 apartments occupying the whole area until you can build. So we suggested him to reduce the size of the apartment, and by doing that, you obtain a 7th apartment, and you achieve also this, you get this area on which to move. Then we elevated the whole thing from the floor. So then, by doing that, you achieve or you avoid the problem of the contact with the ground with most of the houses. That gives a problem of privacy, intimacy regarding the street and so on. We also have by means of that, like a sort of open and big access to the house by some. But the thing is that this is coming from an issue regarding urban regulation that state that arcades do not count as a floor. So you can build, you can build another floor if you make an arcade. That's why we take advantage of that. So then, what we did is to start to move the apartments on each floor, okay, to obtain that sort of garden, right, or terrace onto which to look, like a piece of nature for each apartment, right? So the first apartment look over the next building on the side, because it's only 1 floor, so they can look over it, okay? The next floor, we push the block a little bit back to obtain that terrace. Then we did that with the next floor, and we did that with the 7th apartment on the side. Okay, so we have terraces for all. Okay, each apartment has its own piece of nature, right? But of course, we have a problem. You have to move the blocks freely, and in any building you need vertical continuity, right? For communications, facilities, and so on. So what we did is, after trying a lot of things, is okay, let's try to minimize the vertical elements. Okay, let's say that in fact only the elevator needs to be really vertical, not even that sometimes, and maybe you have shafts for facilities and so on. And that's what we did. We put this elevator and shaft as a core, as a vertical core in the middle, in the most geometrical center of the whole issue. And we put a stair following the movement and organizing the houses, right? Looking, facing different directions. So that was the result. Then we placed the accesses to the building, taking advantage of the slope of the site. For cars on the bottom and on the top, we have the pedestrian access. And then The next issue was, of course, you have the vertical board and the stair, but you need also a sort of vertical continuity for the structure. It's not something you can, put columns everywhere, wherever they do, because you don't have a problems with that. So the only place actually we had for placing the structure was the perimeter. So we have this structural envelope on the exterior. And once we had this structure, we said, okay, let's provide, as we aimed from the very beginning, to provide this, each apartment with this garden. Okay, so let's use this structure as a surface on which to plant vegetation and so on. So this was the result, let's say. You see the bottom, the ground floor on which you access the basement for cars, and then you have those terraces and that garden, which is not vertical really, but horizontal, as you will see in a way, surrounding every apartment, providing architectural needs in a way. We have to provide, solar exposure control. We provide smells, colors. We provide a sort of intimacy by means of plants, deciduous, perennial, and so on. Okay. And this is like the result. You have the structural envelope, the internal core, and the horizontal slabs holding all together a structure that works like that. These are the plans, basement plan, ground floor. These are the apartments that are quite similar in a way, but depending, of course, because they are rotated in each floor. You can see the stairs on the back and the terraces on the left side. The next apartment is rotated. The next floor, there are two apartments on each floor. I didn't mention that. And there is like a court or an inner area for bathrooms and put the clothes and so on. And then you have like a small apartment made of like a loft area, sort of clear space. And this is like the seventh apartment. Here you have the elevations, cross section. You can see spaces of the double facade made of these plants, vertical garden, and the interior, and the other elevation, and the section according to that elevation. You see the terraces on the sides. And well, this is a model made. Those who are coming to our office in an hour or something, you will have the Oh, we always like to make models as big as we can, because we like to. They're not conceptual models actually. They're models in which we test proportions, construction details, and so on. And this is a model made scale 150. Actually, the model rotating around the building. And this is a sort of construction detail where you can see it's not a vertical garden because there are horizontal plant plots around all the perimeter, located between the horizontal beams. So, and there is a floor, walkable floor on top, but there is a gap there. So plants, these climbing plants will grow from here and occupy the whole room. But this is a project we are going to start to build in a month. Yeah, in September. We have just received the municipality permit. And of course, it won't look like those white and black drawings. It will be more like this. We have up to 40 different species of plants. I mean, we are not going to say anything about that because we are not experts. Of course, we have a sort of consultant with the right expertise in that. But what we did is to provide this engineer with the requirements, architectural requirements they need, because for us, the plans as architects, they are also architectural material to work with. So we control, as I said, solar exposure, smells, privacy, according to if it's deciduous or perennial. So according to the different orientations, you have to plan different plans of one type or the other. And well, yeah, the mixture will be a little bit like that. You can see in the image. So
now we have an example of an idea made to respond to a given condition. Starting on 2007, now we are building the project around 7 years later. And it was an area of standing houses, as Professor Ruiz before. Those houses have to be demolished, and those people have to be relocated. And here begin our participation. And we start questioning ourselves, how can we promote the individual identification of the relocated people. The design convergence two main scales, the microsphere, the individual houses, the homes, and the macrosphere, the building, the constraints of the society. Ideally, both spheres are sent together and coexist without problems, but many times there are problems of persistence. The spheres and the spheres one with the other. At some point, things may even break down, and it looks like a Pandora box. So how can we deal with that problem? First, we can try design out of the agency of every actor in the network, or we can try to force things a little bit into our design macrosphere, but we will be serving the interior people or the outside people. It seems to us that it will become a kind of reverse. So at the end, when we try to come up with the third way, we realize that we need the spheres of indeterminacy to be able to negotiate and to design at each scale. And so nested logic become our principal idea. So here we have.
Do you know what nested means? It's a sort of conceptual. Nest is like bird nest, so it's like a sort of matryoshka block. You have a sphere, then another sphere, and then another sphere inside. Each one of these spheres.
So here we have some of the constraints of this nested logic. Here is the response to the macrosphere, to the urbanism scale. And then we have the micro sphere or micro scale with the house, and the smaller one, the window of each person. So here the building is located in Vallecas, UNTERCIO building, but in the villa of Vallecas. That's the site, and usually you have this traditional block with 4 facades looking for this around. But we propose to make one spring building facing to this void in front of us with a little kind of park. And introducing the idea, we found with the macrosphere where we introduce the houses. Instead of located a stair and an elevator, as traditionally we do a ramp that connects each level. And at some point, this ramp connects these voids between houses that are like a courtyard where you can go inside the houses. That was the project in 2008. But then we stopped the project, the municipality changed, the mayor changed, everything changed in the institution. So they made us to change also the project because they didn't accept the project they made us to take out the tube of the ramp because it was too expensive. So we decided to mix the ramp and the train all together. So we put the traditional stair and the elevator inside the train. And then we do the same process into the houses inside the and now we're going to show you some pictures of the building process with the foundations, with the structure, the growing and growing. Well, that's the moment that we finish the structure, and in Spain we do like a flag when we finish the structure. This is the facade with Sanjay projection over the concrete. Those were some the colors we finally selected for the houses. This is the facade to the corridor, to go inside the industrial superior roof. This is the main facade with all the houses with their own turns. This is how it
So as we said, we're going to present the ideas. We have presented that idea coming from our client, the developer. This idea we provide given to we give responding to a given context. And this is the third idea, which is an idea we incubate for quite a time. And then what we did is once we have that idea, let's look for the proper context to implement, right? That's something research you usually do. You're working with something in your laboratory, outside of work, and you find something that's defining you. You're really excited of that, you're obsessed with that, but you're conscious that that thing is not supported or sustained by itself. You need like a proper construction around, proper environment. So what we did was that in this case. So we have this idea, which is formulated like this. You have a book, you open the book, default of the pages. We carve the pages. And then we have something that is really starts to look as a building, bookscape in this case, and it really attracts us as such. So, yeah, at some point we have this finding, and we found that we need to construct that idea somehow. Okay. So this was the project we have made for competition we won 1 year and a half ago, and a project that we are supposed to be building in the next year. So who knows? This is in the Canary Islands. The thing was that once we had the idea, we looked for the proper context in which to implement. Of course, we were very attracted with the idea of making, putting side to side the book and the building. So we thought the best way of implementing the idea was, of course, a library. And so we were waiting for a library competition for quite a long time. And finally, we came across this competition in Fuerteventura, in the Canary Islands, in a small city or town in the south, with this site, which is located near the sea, in the axis, at the end of the main axis to the village. So this was the competition site provided by the developer, our developer, and what they wanted was to establish a two-story high building occupying the whole site. What we did, or what we thought, is that that was not a proper solution for that area, and it was much better to set back the building a little bit to match the height of the buildings on the back. Then to really expand the idea of that sort of block or square or public space we achieved, and reduce also a setback in a different direction, and we propose to expand the square to the whole sort of block. Then we start to work with the geometry, and we push the front a little bit down in order to have this transitional volume regarding the buildings in the back and the garden or the park on the other side of the street. Then also we push the bottom part in order to gain this access, to produce an access or a way of entering the building. We also lift a little bit higher that part to have an access to the basement, because they wanted a parking on the basement. And yeah, this was the sort of result of the whole issue with you can see the back matching the height of the buildings in the back and on the front, creating a sort of artificial topography regarding this landscape on the side of the park. This is a picture to the model we made, sort of side model to understand what we were producing. So that this building is located at the end of the axis. Let's say it's like the first thing you will see like when approaching this village. So what we have to understand how the whole thing works inside is this structural matrix made with these screens or folding pages that intersects a program that was given by the developer with a purpose center, children library, mediatek, regular library, and offices. The program cards. The program intersects the screens and cards all the different screens as we can do here. So each screen is like a surface on which we can, a surface which we can carve freely in a way, as long as it's a sort of free surface to carve because the continuity it brings. This is sort of these are the plans of the result of the project we have finished. This is the ground floor regarding the multi-purpose area. This is the access to the basement, the multi-purpose hall. This is an exhibition area and access to the main floor. This is the first floor with the children library and media section. The core works as a sort of a spiral going up from the most public areas on the bottom and the most private on the top in the offices. This is the regular library with sort of journals and magazines area, which faces the void of the multi-purpose hall, and you have not the deposit, but the place where the books are located in the interior of the building, and the areas for studying and reading and so on are located in the perimeter. And these are the offices on the top floor. This is an elevation of facing this landscape on the side. And you can see here how the different spaces, the multi-purpose hall, the journal, magazines area face each other. So we try to really improve that idea of multi-purpose or flexibility in order to get all these spaces visually connected like that. The drawing shows the whole of this elevation and the section, which you can see the different spaces all connected with the stairs and different level heights in the interior elevation. And again, here what we made was a model as big as we can. Again, a 1/50 scale, and now we're going to try to walk and get into the building. This is the access. We work with different ways of opening the building and entering the building. At some point, we thought that instead of making a hole into the building, it was better to work with this envelope as a sort of curtain screen, which you can move to the sides in order to open to get into the building. And the model is something you can open to understand the space, to see how it works. These models we make, they are all working models. They're not models we've produced to present to our clients or someone. They are models we need to produce to test things, and then at some point we produce them with the quality enough to be presentable. Let's say.
Well, it's great.
This is you can see one of the images over here, how the spaces are all connected, one into the other. This is a sort of virtual image from the interior we made for the competition, but the building is not actually built with this white rendering. Actually, how the building is made out of two main materials. One, for the pages of the book, is cross-laminated wood, which is the best way to have these surfaces made out of. And the other is Portland steel. All the structure around all the envelope around this structure made of wood or timber timber is working steel. No, mostly because we need steel for working out this envelope, but also because the color of the Portland steel really relates to the color of the island. The island is as you've seen in the pictures before, it's a sort of desert, volcanic island. So, and the colors really relate with that, those browns, quite red at the time. So that's why it was finally worked out with those two main materials. Here you can see like a small sort of approximation to the final look of the library with different details of how we carve or work with the wood and the timber scripts and so on. And well, this is the proposal we submit to the format of the proposal we submit to the competition. When you have an idea and you should try to do thing is to push it to the limit. So there was not a regular or a standard format for the submission. They didn't say anything about that. So what we did was to send that box with a sort of folding model you can get from all the pages of the sheets of the competition. So as we would like to conclude to tell you that as you may have seen, we have what we have done with this project, like sort of a new formulation for all ideas, right? So it's not so much about where the starting point is located, where your idea comes from. I think it's more about how you construct your ideas. And when talking about construction, you have to think that the work that your ideas need to sustain is probably not yet there. The more defined or daring your ideas are, the more you will need to construct that things that really supports what you're doing. Okay, sometimes that will regard materiality, architectural issues, but then sometimes it regards how people will live there, how they will react to, how they will criticize, how they will, occupy, use the building. And those things are not given. The world in which our ideas have to be implemented, it's not a given. It's something you can design, and it's something you can construct. So, in this period of crisis, in which we are really afraid of everything, let's say that the future ahead of us is not a given. It's something we can design, and it's something we can construct. So I would really wish you to, or encourage you to do it with your future. Okay, so thank you very much.